Good morning, everybody. It is March 17th, 9:45 Central Time. Brother Rick MacGyver in the house already. Hey, I want to give real quick a huge shout out to Scrappy McDo or Scrappy McPoo, whatever your name is. One of my all-time favorite trolls who's been trolling the channel for over a year. Fake news, this and that. Much love to you, brother. I refuse to block you because your comments, they crack me up. They crack me up. And anyways, thank you for all the messages you left on my last video, calling me fake news, etc. So glad to have you a part of this channel. For over a year now, you've been following me. And hey, Paul's the name's in the house. But anyways, want to give you a huge shout out, make you famous. You actually said that you would come over here and take all my subscribers because my news is fake. Still love you though, there, you whack job. Anyways, okay, real quick, we have Grace to you. Grace to you. I like that name. Rick MacGyver once again, brother Mick, Rick, Bonnie Moore, Mary H. There we go, bouncing up on me. Brother Josh from Wisconsin. Won't be long, man. If I got, we got to hurry up and have that meet up with you before everything's shut down, put on lockdown. I was watching this morning, Trump to speak at 11 this morning. Absolutely, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. And then we're going to have AB come up. He wants to clarify some information that some of you all may have seen, which is really, the story is sad and disturbing. Everyone is testing positive for this horseshit virus. Grumpy Troll, do you believe the virus is a hoax, or do you honestly believe it's real? Which everybody here, we're all entitled to our own opinions. I don't boot people off if they disagree. Hey, Justin, New Orleans mayor talking about banning alcohol and firearms. That's happening all across the country. They're talking about, they're using this form of national emergency to strip us of our liberties and our rights. Grumpy Troll on 50-50. Me personally, I believe this is a false flag event, which a lot of y'all need to know. False flag event, people do die. In a hoax, they don't. And Sister Crystal Gypsy, God bless you, sister. I hope you're feeling better. Prayed for you last night, and you had many praying for you, and we'll continue to pray for your health. Sister Crystal Gypsy is battling lupus, and she is having quite a time fighting off this upper respiratory infection. I know there's more to it, but we love you, sister. Real quick, I'm going to read this. Just goes to show you. This is off of Zero Hedge. In other news, Mick Mulvaney, the outgoing chief of staff, is in self-quarantine. Anything to avoid being shipped off to Northern Ireland after his niece had contact with Brazilian officials who tested positive, the same Brazilian officials that President Trump was hanging out with. All right, AB's in the house. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Where you at? I thought you were in your truck, bro.
No, I told you to park in the truck. We're at the house now. We're sitting back, relaxing, making business phone calls because people are aggravating today.
All right, everybody, give you a quick heads up if I don't have a good feed. My son, he's doing his studies, online studies right now. So Pocket 2, not a hoax, too real. Absolutely. You can't have that many crisis actors all across the whole world, so to speak. This is definitely, it's a real virus. But anyways, I know you wanted to clarify.
Speaking of hoaxes,
right?
I think there were some folks this morning. I think Rondar was on there, maybe Ms. Mary. I gotta really think through my head so I don't totally lay this out, because this could be like a ugly situation for an individual. I have a close friend that works at a meat processing facility. He's probably in his early 30s, and he is like the head guy at nighttime. Okay, we talk every morning. You know, he's bored. He's got a good ride home. He lives a little north of Atlanta. So I sent him something. We're always sending joking stuff back, and I sent him a message, and I don't even know if he looked at it, but it had something to do. You know, it was like a Alpha Foxtrot Bravo, kind of like a military thing. Because I mean, we make all kinds of jokes. He didn't even see it. He calls me and goes, "Man, you're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" He said, "I had a little issue, and I had to call one of the people that are in HR because this plant runs 24/7, so they've got HR people there." And he said, about 20 seconds into my talking with this lady, she stopped me and says, "Why are you still here?" And he said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We just got word for anybody that lives in Atlanta or around Atlanta, you need to get home now, that they were locking Atlanta down." This guy, he's married, got 2 young kids, and he's aware of what's going on, all kinds of things. He's in panic mode. Right. He's driving 80 and 90 miles an hour to try to get home. And the whole time I'm like, "Hey man, are you seeing anything?" Because we got the billboards on the interstates. He said, "I'm not seeing nothing," and I started calling. I called Channel 2 News out of Atlanta. I called a local sheriff's department where I'm at. Nobody knew anything. I said, "Robert, something's not adding up." I said, "Because if it was that big, they'd be telling people." And he was so panicky. He was headed into Atlanta, got off at the wrong exit. I mean, it's really a bad thing because he was driving a company vehicle.
Right.
This information came from an HR lady. And he felt like it was a real deal. Mm-hmm. And I did too, because we've all been expecting this. You know, when I got this and I jumped on there and I said, "Look, this looks like what's going down in Atlanta." I mean, because this right here needs to be brought out as quick as possible. And I'm never one to get on here with Justin, Vern, whoever I get on with. I try to give what we're seeing out here on the roads, information, right, and that I know is real. I don't like it.
Not to cut you off, but you all are the eyes and ears, basically, when it comes to what's going on, state by state. You're truck drivers. You see, just like DB's husband, he's a truck driver.
And right now, Justin, I've got buddies of mine that are out. One was in Dallas. What is today? Tuesday. Monday morning, rush hour. There was hardly no traffic. I got one that just called me this morning. It's up in New York State. I'm like, "What are you seeing?" The only thing he told me, well, we'll get back to this and just say, the only thing he told me on 81, they're going to start shutting the rest areas down. That's not good. No. Truck drivers ain't got no place to park then. It's already bad enough out here. Yep. So get back to this situation. During this whole time, this fellow, by this person, and it wasn't just him, there was several others that left this facility in a hurry to get home. And by her saying this is where you got to think, because everybody's on edge. It's already crazy enough out here. This guy was risking everything he had. If he'd have been in an accident, somebody would have had a big lawsuit,
Right.
Because he's running like a madman to get home to his family. So I wanted to clear that out because I thought it was the real deal. And I don't like spewing. That's about the first time since I've dealt with any of y'all that I said something that I did not know 100%, because, man, I thought with this chick, she said she had a phone call and that they were told that the National Guard was locking down. Right. Now, I will say this: on his ride home, there is a National Guard armory. He went by it. He said, "Let me turn around," since he's kind of calmed down from this whole thing. So he turned around. He said there was plenty of vehicles in that National Guard armory, and there was a tank out front that had been moved, and it looked like they were in there working. So that's about all I know. We haven't seen any military people are giving reports. They're probably on the side streets and hiding out. I mean, I don't know none of this, but it all seems obvious with San Francisco going on lockdown, and I guess we call that a soft lockdown, maybe in Jersey and New York City, where there's curfew. Even this area that I live in, Athens, Clark County, they were trying to vote on a 7:00 curfew here.
Right, and a lot of people don't realize, even though we're in a form of martial law, when they declare curfew,
state of emergency, but yeah, and it's almost like martial law.
Yeah, I think more powerful in a way, but once you have curfew, then martial law is implemented once you step out. And if you're found looting and this and that, the government can actually, they don't even have to try to arrest you. They can actually shoot your ass dead. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question, Justin. Yeah, if I send you something via text, remember when I told you about the concealed permits? Right. If I send that via text, can you show it on the site so people can see what just happened in Georgia?
I haven't figured out how to do that yet. But if
I
you
mean,
want to
I've
send it,
got it.
I'll
Maybe,
read it.
yeah. I'll send it to you. You can put it up later or whatever. What happened yesterday? Our Georgia governor, from my understanding, they enacted a lot of powers like they did with Trump, or like what he did with state of emergency. He's granted a lot of power. They have suspended, as of now, any new concealed carry permits or renewals in the state of Georgia.
Right. And I
So,
can't fathom that. Like I said, I was talking to you on the phone. If you already have your concealed weapons permit and you've had it for years and you have no infractions and nothing, you're a law abiding citizen, you can't renew it. That right there is a form of gun grab, people, if you ask me, or not a gun grab, but taking your
well,
right to.
yeah.
So if you, okay, just say you've had your concealed for 10 years,
Hmm.
15 years, you've been
And
a
you've
model
renewed it several
citizen.
times, no
Yeah,
problem. Yeah.
no problem. And then all of a sudden, they don't renew it. You're still carrying because the days we're living in, and you get caught with it. Guess what? Now you're what, a felon? Or I don't know if
Who
it's
knows
if
how
it's
that
a
could be?
I don't know if it's a felony or class something misdemeanor. I'm not quite sure. But so basically, if I'm going to put the scenario out, this guy gets he's told by HR. Was it through phone call?
Yeah, he had called her because they're in the same building. He had
Right.
called her on the telephone asking her about a problem maybe with an employee. I don't know, because that's
Right.
HR's job.
Mm-hmm.
HR is supposed to protect the employees, the company, and all that. And after 20 seconds into the convo, that's when she asked, "Why are you still here?" And he said, "Why?" He said, "Well, we just got a phone call to anybody who lives north of Atlanta, in Atlanta. They need to go home because they're fixing to lock Atlanta down with
Yeah.
National Guard." And come to find out, it was BS.
So can you imagine the fear this guy had knowing that his wife and you said daughter live in Atlanta?
He's married. And he's got two small, I think, a boy and a
Okay,
girl. I'm
two.
talking like under 3. Oh, I'm on the phone, dude. You have no idea. He was pouring sweat. I mean, he's like, man, his adrenaline was pumping.
I'm getting a call from Waco, Texas. I don't even know anybody from Waco,
Wacko.
Texas. I don't know anybody
No,
from
that's.
Waco, Texas.
I heard we got to laugh a little bit. I heard a joke since all this went down and the corona had hit India and
Mm-hmm.
Iran. He's not getting any of the robocalls about his new insurance policy going out of effect. I thought that was kind of a funny.
Well, like I said, the scenario, could you imagine? And we talked about it. And like you said, he thinks in his heart that Atlanta's getting shut
It's
down. He's trying to haul butt so he could get home to his family. And like you said, he's wearing a jacket. He's sweating. And like you said, you at the time thought it was real as well. Why wouldn't you? And God forbid if they would have had some type of roadblock and checked his temperature.
yeah, there you go. That's what I told him. He goes, "What do you think they'll do?" And I said, "Well, this is what's going on in other countries." I said, "We don't know here. We haven't seen it yet, but they'll either stop you and tell you to turn around, you cannot go no further, or it might be a roadside, a wellness check." And he
Right.
said, "Man, I'm pouring sweat." He said, "I'm taking my jacket off." And I said, "Well, that might elevate your temperature." I said, there you are on the side of the road. Bing, put him in a tent, quarantine
Right.
him.
Exactly. And there could have been, and that's what's going to happen months in the months that we're headed towards. The fact that there is going to be misinformation, not just on YouTube. I got criticized for fake news for the video I did yesterday, but then I got a lot of confirmation from people saying, yes, it's true. Hopefully it's not true. And they're like, oh, you're doing it for views. No, absolutely not. I care less about how many views I get. It's about getting the word out to people in Texas, etc. Because we have a lot of subscribers that have families in Texas, etc. But once again, I want to touch back on this. If you don't know who Mick Mulvaney, I can never say his name. In other news, Mick Mulvaney, the outgoing chief of staff, is in self-quarantine. Anything to avoid being shipped off to Northern Ireland after his niece had contact with a Brazilian official who tested positive. Now, are these the Brazilian officials that Trump was hanging around?
That's what happens when I get a phone call because I'm on my phone. I got my laptop right here, which I've never tried to do it on a laptop, but got a phone call and it kicked me off.
Kicked you right off? Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
last night we're talking with Vern. I didn't like doing the phone. It was a pain in the butt because you don't even get to see the chat unless you kick off of it. President Trump slams Michigan Democrat Governor Gretchen, claiming we are pushing her to get the job done. Well, anyways, like we talked about, everybody, when you see, actually this morning they were supposed to have the press conference at 9:30
Yeah, I mean,
this
how many
morning.
times did they put that off, Justin? While me and you were
Three
talking.
times. Three times within what 20-minute span, 30-minute span. It went from 9:30, and then went to 10:30, and then now it's 12:30, which could be I don't know if it's 11:30 Eastern time or if it's 12:30 Central time. Same thing. But I sat there and watched it, and I just kept checking it because I was thinking, okay, it's going to be coming on any minute, and then boom, they bumped it up. Why are they keep putting it off? Because they're getting more news. They're trying to get.
Well, I'm looking at chat right now. I think there was a
Calm
few people
down.
on there.
President is doing his thing.
I think Miss Mary was on there this morning. I hope she got what I was talking about the situation.
Yeah, I'll
Because
go
I
back.
thought it was go time. Miss Mary was on there. I don't see Rhonda R yet, or whoever was on there. So I hope y'all get that it wasn't something I was trying to do some kind of crazy, stupid crap.
I mean, come on. You're told by HR, somebody you have to trust. You may not like.
And sad part is this woman. She'll lose her. If he says I don't know how to handle it, he said I'm pissed off. I don't know how to handle this. And he said, I said, dude, she can lose her job in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
That's just dumb.
I know. And he had to have been mortified, absolutely mortified, thinking he was going to be, closed off from his family, more. Ms. Mary said that's what worries me with upcoming doctor's appointments. They're screening temperatures. A low-grade fever is normal for me with lupus. Crystal Gypsy is dealing, she's diagnosed with lupus as well. I don't know too much on.
I don't know what their range is. I'd like to know what temperature that throws them a red flag. Is it 100? Because their range has changed up to 99, I think now, from 98.6 or whatever it was up to 99. They're saying that's people's range.
Yeah,
that'd be an interesting fact to find out.
Adrenaline can bring on your body, a fever. Pain can bring on, your body's temperature to raise. Like you said, I don't know if it's with your foot, that can bring your temperature up.
Oh, definitely.
That's why a lot of times in the hospital, they're like, they know when you're in serious pain because your body temperature's up, it's fighting, it's just hurting. And it's like, I'm not a doctor or whatnot, but it's funny. People will go in there, try to get, pills and say, oh, I'm in so much pain. Then they check your blood pressure. Your blood pressure's fine and your temperature's fine. Usually they'll go off of that because that's what mine is.
There's several people. Diane Blue says her normal temp. Everybody's body's different. 96.6. True Light says it's 104 temp. 104 is really, really high. I've been told that children, if they get it, their temperature goes higher than older people. Older people, they ain't much fire left. This is kind of how they explain. There's not much fire left in the stove, so they won't get an extremely high temp.
Right.
But I mean, here again, who knows? I just want to know what their I'm trying to think of the word, not regulations, but their thing that throws the red flag. What is it? 101.
Right. Actually, I don't know. I think it could be. I can search it and look it up, but I don't know if we'll get a clearer answer. But you see people here like I usually run 97.7, just like Pansy Wilson said. That's usually every time. And usually if I do feel sick and, I really don't, for some reason, I don't get a fever. But 104.
An adult would damn near kill you. My son, he's a really big kid, and he
Mm-hmm.
would run high temperatures when he was little, and he gotten up to 104, a little over 104 one time, and they had to put him in
And they
ice.
say,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
it's no big.
getting up there.
Well, they say anywhere between, I think it's 102 and 104, if I got that correct. Raul, and I saw it somewhere else too. It helps combat. It's
My phone's
nature's
ringing again,
way.
so I have to kick back on, Justin.
Okay, bub. He turned into Darth Vader for a second. But you got to realize too, when your children run a high temperature, not to panic, because I think it's between 102 and 104 degrees. The virus, any virus, cannot survive or accumulate, so to speak. You back?
Yeah. Every
Okay.
time his phone rings, and it's like, it's like I told you. I know several other people. Y'all's phone's probably ringing off tug the last few days, and mine's been doing the same. A lot of
Right.
truck drivers, just a lot of people information.
Okay.
A lot of question marks.
True Light says my hospital's checking for 104-degree temperature. That's what
That's getting high. Yeah, if you got 104, you're in bad shape,
dude. I've watched people say, not the people that were actually infected, but people they describe the symptoms from infected people that said that when their fever did come on, they felt like they were burning out of their skin, like it was the most intense fever they ever had. So one says low grade, not like a mild fever, and then some, like the guy in Iran, the health official, where he was wiping all that sweat off and said, I mean, they're dropping like flies in Iran. Their government is, but what I want to talk about is, you're not safe anywhere. The outgoing chief of staff test positive for the coronavirus.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't catch as soon as you came on. Read that again. I didn't catch that
it
part.
says, in other news, Mick Mulvaney, the outgoing chief of staff, is in self-quarantine. Anything to avoid being shipped off to Northern Ireland. It says, I don't know why I said that. After his niece had contact with a Brazilian official who tested positive. Now, is that Brazilian official, not the that Trump took a picture with, or you remember the Brazilian president tested positive, then it came back that he tested negative, etc. Adults with a temperature of 103.8, they will pack you in ice. Yeah, I believe that to be true as well, because then it starts killing the brain, that high of a temperature.
Let's see. Somebody said the fear is so thick you can cut it with a knife. Yeah, this is nothing to be like feared or scared. I mean, it's just coming, and be prepared. I'm not scared. The only thing I want is the people to know what the hell's actually happening as quick as people can spread the word. But no, try not to let it, try not to let it become a
grace
thing
to
that
you.
Makes you.
Yeah, I know. Don't let it consume you. Think about how many people are today. I mean, not to sound terrible, but how many people today are going to be killed in car wrecks and stuff? You know what I mean? I've said this many times on my channel. A lot of, loyal subscribers, brothers and sisters in Christ know, it sounds morbid, but it's true. Death is swift. Heaven is forever if you're a believer. So sometimes you just got to let go of fear. But Stevens Point, Wisconsin is rolling out 5G. Not good. I actually live about 30 minutes from Stevens Point. Grace to you. Wow. I'm not. A lot of people are terrified of this. They're trying to link the 5G with the virus. Me personally, I don't know.
I've seen a lot of that on folks putting it together on YouTube. I mean, I don't know. I don't like neither. Here, either one of these subjects. This stank bug, as I call it. This stank bug is what we'll do on the
stank bug.
To keep the stank bug that we call it, and the 5G. I don't like neither one of them subjects because I don't think neither one of them's good. But combining them together, oh man, you got a nice cocktail of crap.
Right. And what I want to do is, while people are in here, because it's fluctuating. I know people are working this and that. You're working, but
no, actually, I'm done, brother.
Well,
Done
I
for the
mean,
day.
yeah. Okay, my bad. But when a lot of y'all, when you watch the press conferences that Trump and Mike Pence and all them and tweet a little Dr. Fauci or whatever he is, that vaccine pushing idiot. They even said yesterday that they gave the first injection on a trial vaccine,
I caught
which to
that.
me is unheard of. It's unheard of that
He
fast.
was bragging. It was 60-something days, the
Yeah,
fastest it's ever been
it's
done.
just, I mean, you know,
Are you calling to get one, Justin?
who, what, the
Yeah,
vaccine?
you are. Yeah, are you calling to get one? You set
I'm
an
the one
appointment.
that took the vaccine in the army.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
was wondering about that.
Yeah, I'm actually growing female breasts, but hey, the side effect, that's fine. As long as I'm protected from the coronavirus, I'm good. I'm golden.
Look,
But
I'm stepping
anyways,
aside. I'm stepping aside because last night was bad enough. But
oh, I know, right? Yeah.
not bad. It was a bad but good.
Yeah. Oh, we know our brother. He's going to wake up sicker than a hootie bird, but we won't go down that rabbit trail.
He's still trying to do good, and
Oh, I
yeah,
know.
I
I
think it's
know.
like you talked. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming a lot of people. I mean, it's
Hmm.
like whatever this guy he talked about in Texas. They took the guns away. I mean, he's tripping out. And I did have a broker that I called. Listen to this. 3 or 4 days ago, I said, "Dude, this coronavirus got things messed up. As far as freight." And he said, "I don't even want to talk about it. You're causing me to have anxiety."
Right.
And I like to died laughing on the phone.
A lot
I
of
mean, I'm like,
people,
well, I shouldn't
but
laugh at somebody having anxiety, but this sound like a kind of one of our glitter boys. That's what it sounded like to me on the phone. I'm not laughing about anybody having anxiety, no, by no means. But the way I took it with him, it's just like, oh, and I'm like, no, don't. You can't let this, and it probably does some people, but you got to be prepared. If you're prepared, you're gonna be fine. Sorry.
exactly. No, I get what you're saying. I just got sidetracked there on pockets too. I'll put it up real quick. Y'all can read it for yourself, but that cracked me up inside. But um, yeah, our buddy, our brother, he's gonna be feeling like what do you call those mudslides he was having last night? He's probably gonna be sitting on the toilet with plenty of mudslides coming, but we gotta support him in a way. Everybody's entitled to have a breakdown. It's just but we're not going there. What I want to talk about is um, when Trump and Pence and them are talking, do not let your guard down because, like you and I agree,
Listen to him.
yeah,
Listen to him.
read between the lines. When the reporter says, "Are you going to put the nation on a 14-day lockdown?" Trump never said no. He says, we're going to wait, but it's still on the table. Anytime somebody says it's still on the table, that's not a no. There's a contingency plan, and I believe it's definitely going to be coming. I'm a firm believer, like Josh. This is a global brother Josh.
Money reset.
Yeah, it's a global and money reset, like the market. The market is so manipulated. A lot of people, they see the market crash, this and that. It's so manipulated by investors and this and that. They drop stocks, they do this and that, and just, I mean,
They
it's
let you make a little
market
bit. This is what I
manipulation.
kept saying. I let everybody there sitting there going, man, it's doing great. I said, they're letting you make some. It's like going to the casino.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you've been on a roll.
Exactly.
Max bet, ding, 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 and then
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. Now, next thing you know, you're like, I can make more. I can make more.
Yep.
And you start hitting the bad button, and that money starts going fast. But I can make it back. And next thing you know, because I got friends of mine that's done told me they've lost lots of money.
Right. Well, I mean, look, there's people already, killing themselves. Look at even silver. My dad at one time had $80,000 or something worth of silver. I think 90.
Josh, that statement right there, dude. I say that all the time. Never let a good disaster go to waste.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I put it up there. And it's true. That's how they work. They're vultures. But
money, dude. It's money, money.
But everybody, I mean, I'm just saying, be prepared. And I'll find out today about Texas. today or tomorrow. You know, I hope and pray that the intel that I was given, Scrappy McScrappy Doo-Doo Pants, my troll, you know, the only troll I know that has a YouTube channel. So I got to go on there and join his channel and
Oh,
mess
let me
with
know
him
when
a
you
bit.
do that. Let's go on there and give him some love.
Oh, he's a funny dude. He cracks me up. He hates me. I mean, absolutely hates me. Because years ago there was it was actually from Blazing Press. I seen that there was a rocket attack in Iraq, and Blazing Press usually is 100% spot
I
on.
listened to him this
Yeah.
morning.
So he said something about an attack over in Iraq that killed like 31 service members. So I did the video breaking news, and then I only had it up for like 5 minutes, and I started doing research, and I couldn't find less than 5 minutes, and then I took it down. And he's been holding that against me and did an apology, but he was saying that he's caught me 5, 10 times, whatever, how many times, but he just cracks me up. But and I think it
Somebody
frustrates
posted
me.
something. I think me and you hit this. I don't know if we have, but
Where's it at?
Israel News Live said a meteor belt, but I've also heard I can't remember where it come from that supposedly some folks want to go smack Iran the 1st of April. I don't know how true that is, but there's just, who knows what's fixing to happen, man. I know
Exactly. Who knows
there's
anymore?
so much info coming.
It's
Well,
unbelievable.
Justin, I'm off here. I had the people that there's my
You get
phone
another
ringing
phone
again.
call.
Yeah,
Well, come back on then. You know.
I will. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Let's give him a good taste of his own vaccinations. Oh, dude, I'm for real. This, you know, he's when you all know when it comes to trolls, they don't phase me. They don't bother me. You know, a lot of people don't agree that I, give them any type of attention. But this one, he just, I mean, over a year, he's been stalking this channel or whatever. And, you know, to be honest with you, when I went over to his channel, I felt sorry for him because of, he's trying. But, anyways, I joked enough with him last night that actually when I said, well, I gotta go to bed, have this and that, and he's like, okay, buddy, talk, it was funny. But trolls, they don't bother me, and we're gonna have a lot of them. I mean, if kids are sick enough to lick toilet seats, like the video I did, if you haven't seen it yet on the COVID-19 challenge, check it out, like 2 live streams ago. Um, just go into a live stream where they're talking about, on the news or something on COVID-19, and start reading all these comments where they don't have moderators. You talk about some evil, hateful stuff that come from these trolls. I mean, just like satanic, evil. I can't even describe it. But no, this one, Scrappy Dude. Yeah, that's it, Scrappy Dude. He cracks me up. And I think it frustrates him because I just give him hearts and thank yous and all that. Huh. All right, I'll leave that for everybody else to read their conspiracy granny. Coronaville thingy. D and the mods in the house. Those damn trolls. Yeah, grumpy troll. You're not no troll there, brother. Once again, everybody, you're not safe anywhere if you believe this is the real deal. It's definitely a bioengineered weapon as far as I'm concerned because of the research I've done on it. But for the outgoing chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, to be diagnosed with the coronavirus, think of how close he is with the president and the vice president, etc. Um, truly, nobody's safe. But what you need to do is try to concentrate the best you can on. Try to concentrate the best you can when it comes to building your immune system with what you got. Okay, I just got. Okay, this is a screenshot of a text. It says, "Morning, love. I have word that the National Guard is being mobilized. They are holding out for the election, but tomorrow or shortly therefore, the Guard have orders to act on orders immediately. Everything will be shut down. Just a heads up. If you need anything, um, you need to get it today." Hey, heed the warnings. If it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not. Stream the Trump show. I would love to, Conspiracy Granny, but honestly, I don't even know how to do that. I would love to. Actually, I mean, that would be really cool. But anyways, actually, I got a call late last night too. And no, this isn't fear porn. That somebody that knows somebody in the Pentagon said that they're shoot, what's the name of it? Containment Citizen Act that they're going to roll out. The Containment Citizen Act. If any of y'all heard that or have heard of it, it has something to do with putting everybody on lockdown, so to speak, throughout the United States. So, is it true? We'll find out. That's all we can do. We can try to get huh?
I sent you that real quick if you don't mind. Don't, because it's got people's names and stuff
I'm not
on it
saying
that come
it.
from.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even show it. I'm
And
not
and
that
I
stupid.
asked that. Yeah. I asked my wife. I said, "Did you just get this today?" She said, "Yeah." So
Yeah.
here, that's just another. I it's just info, folks. I mean, stuff like this is coming left and right. Take what you want to into it.
This is the way I look at it. Okay. Everybody says, oh, and still, oh, bullcrap. They can't do that. They just made it a law in the United States. And even they put soft words. Okay. They said, we suggest you do this, strongly advise you, basically means you have to abide by only a crowd no bigger than 10 people. That now is an effective law. Now, if you are hanging out in a crowd of 15, 20 people, thinking this is a joke, college parties, etc., you don't know. You might get round up, thrown in a detention camp. I don't think they're going to be throwing them into jail. They're going to be throwing them into types of FEMA camps. Now, one thing, if you didn't catch what Mike Pence said yesterday, if you are an elderly and you start coming down with the symptoms, do not go to a hospital. Go to one of the a parking
Designated.
lot, and designated areas in a parking lot, which are going to be the FEMA hospitals. Basically, they already have
And
a
we'll
lot of.
come to you. And we'll
Yeah,
come to
and
you.
we'll come to you exactly. So right there just goes to show you they don't.
I'm astounded by Conspiracy Granny. I just looked at that and I was just like, what? Wow, that's a good picture. No, just look at her picture.
Oh, I love her picture. I love.
Oh yeah, picture. I love it. I'd like to meet her live in person. She'd be a trip.
I'm missing stuff. A lot of people think that I ignore the chat. I don't. I just can't keep up with it, especially on this one.
Well, that's why sometimes it's good to have a reading partner. That's what I try to do with you, Vern, when I get on, is try to look at what people are asking, because if there's something on here we missed or it needs to be said, sometimes we laugh at some of the stuff.
I'm locked and loaded, bro. Yep, Conspiracy Granny's locked and loaded. Love that.
Get them, Granny. Get them, Granny.
A few years ago in Wittenberg, the military was doing an exercise where they were quarantining people in the event of a biological attack. They paid the participants $100 for 6 hours. Man, I was hoping that I'd be safer, a little safer here out in Wittenberg. I'm actually, I'm not. I don't even care, but I'm about 8 miles from. No, Well, if the flow cries, or how you say that, as the
Crow
crow
flies.
flies. Yeah, I'm about 8 miles from Wittenberg, but I live way out in the woods. Um,
I just had a buddy of mine call me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm on a live stream with a guy." Well, I said, "Look at him, locked and loaded." So he may have jumped on here, and he was one of the guys that was like he was going to take a cruise.
mhm.
And I think seeing all this is become reality for him. And all of a sudden, he ain't taking no cruise, and he's like, he's getting really into paying attention what's going on.
Right. Well,
Um, no, it's crazy.
I want to put this up here. Pansy Wilson. Martial law is enacted to protect us from riots that are going to happen. I strongly urge you to read the Martial Law Act. Read it from top to bottom. It's a way, yes, to protect people to an extent, but it gives the
That's the good
government and the
side of it.
military, yeah, it gives the military um, too much power. It gives them the right to kick in our doors and take our guns, just like what happened in Katrina. And flood zones, people that their homes and houses weren't even messed, there was no floods. They were out of the flood zone, and they're like knocking on the door, saying, wellness check, boom, kicking in the door because they knew people had these guns. Martial law, honestly, is it's a comfort word to people that don't know the full spectrum
All
of
your
what
rights are
martial.
gone.
They're gone. Yeah, exactly. All your rights.
The Constitution is my understanding, which I've not done what you recommend, but my understanding of Cliff Notes, I guess. Yeah, all your rights are basically done. You just lived in a a communist totalitarian environment.
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, Kenneth, that's a good point.
And this isn't conspiracy at all. Martial law, they can do anything they want, take food, guns, and all your freedoms. Absolutely.
Everything's on the table. I mean, we've said that a bunch of times this morning. Everything's on the table. Then they can do whatever they want.
You haven't heard a solid no from President Trump or Mike Pence or nothing. It's all still on the table. We're still thinking about it. I honestly think that this upcoming press conference is going to be pretty big. From it to go from 9:30 to 10:30, clear to 12:30.
Is it still hadn't been changed? 12:30, still on for 12:30.
Let me check. Boy, if it gets changed to 1:30 or something, then it's time to really be concerned.
And that'll be 12:30 Eastern time, which I'm in Eastern. It's 11:30, so an hour away.
Right.
I watched that news conference yesterday, Justin. I was surprised. There was a couple of dumb questions, but the majority from all folks, there was a lot of good questions.
Yeah.
Are y'all staying separated? They were talking about Pence and Trump, and it's kind of obvious they're not. But if you'll notice, neither one of their wives have been out, and both of those guys keep their wives close to them when they're out and about, and that hadn't been going on.
That's true. That's a good point. But no, it's still up for 12:30. But I don't know if that's 12:30 Eastern. It doesn't say. Or
generally, them being in DC will be Eastern.
Huh?
Them being in DC, generally, when they say 12:30, it's Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, but I've noticed here on my phone, since it's linked up to Eastern Time or Central Time, it'll give me 12:30, and it'll actually be 12:30 Central Time. So I don't know if anybody knows. Is it 12:30 Eastern Time? They're going to have another press conference, or is it 1:30 Eastern Standard Time? If somebody's got to know, but like I said, I've noticed that with my chat, like when the Watchmen project's going on, he'll have it scheduled for 3:50 p.m. and it'll say 3:50 p.m. and then I click on it, he goes live. So it's technically where he's at. Okay. Now you're saying 11:30 Eastern. Well, they're saying right now it was rescheduled to 12:30. President Trump and Corona Task Force hold news conference 3/17/2020 scheduled for 12:30 p.m. It's right here.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be 12:30 my time, 11:30 your time, because
Okay.
I'm 11:30, you're 10:30 now.
Well,
Yeah,
someone
okay,
said
yeah, Eastern time.
11:30 Eastern time. So
No, it's going to be 12:30 Eastern time.
yeah.
I see somebody here is from New Orleans, Peggy Bro.
Uh-oh.
The great state of New Orleans with the good Coach O. They had him doing an announcement about coronavirus.
All right.
And I guarantee you that man gets a lot of looks.
Real quick, Grace, to you, you said, wow, they just changed it to 3:30 p.m. I'm gonna have to reboot this thing. That's not good, man. If that's true. Let me I'm not saying it's
That's
not.
getting more like that's getting more like time when people go home. Get your butts home. I mean, who knows? We're speculating.
Right.
I've said several days they was going to come out and it was going to happen, and they keep they're doing like what me and you talked about, a soft. It'd be suggested if you went home and there were only about 10 people, and that's basically saying, if you're out at a big bar and there's a lot of people in there, I've already heard this, they're going to shut it down. Get
Oh,
out. You
exactly.
got too many people. So don't believe that they're suggesting it. That's what's going to happen. A lot of my buddies
Yeah,
are truck
when
drivers,
they
and they're
say
worried. They're worried about this, man. What's going to happen with us? What if they shut things down? How do we go home? Nobody knows.
I don't know either. But when it comes to y'all gonna see, just like Little Smiley when I had him on last night before I went off. Um, he showed pictures of Denmark, man. It was a ghost town,
So
and
they are locked down in Denmark.
you're allowed to go out, like one person, kind of like Wuhan did in the beginning, but then
Yeah.
at curfew, um, it's automatic. They implement martial law at curfew time, which I think is like probably 7 p.m. their time, but they use military time, so I wasn't sure when he said it. And it's hard to, love Little Smiley to death, but I'm getting to
It's hard to
learn.
understand him with his
Yeah,
accent
yeah,
sometimes, and his way his words are compared to ours. Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, I told you I ain't been really doing a whole lot. I get on here every now and then with some folks, but I ain't been looking at a whole lot, and I ain't caught him on there. It's
right.
coming. I mean,
It's
if it ain't,
definitely
I'll be
coming.
totally surprised.
Well, this is the point I wanted to get across. People like, oh, this is nothing, blah blah blah. When and have you ever heard in your lifetime that we now legally can't be in a crowd of people more than 10? Right there. I mean, that's unheard of. That's present. It's people all think, oh, that's just for a little while. No, that's big time. And then look what they're doing. They're shutting down. They're making the sale of alcohol and stuff. People are going crazy buying up alcohol and stuff. I don't know. If they get caught with it, what are they gonna do? Make it illegal? Kind of like prohibition? What exactly? Well, know what the end goal is. Hope tyranny
I
is
kicked
here.
myself. I kicked myself in the butt. I looked at buying one of those small stills because I think that making moonshine stuff is a fascinating thing to me, and it might become a very wealthy thing if they do all that.
It'll be a good way to barter too, though, because
Yep.
if the currency's nothing, if you want toilet paper, etc., or you
Toilet
want
paper.
food, yeah. I heard
DM DeMod loves my accent. Sorry, I am from the South. We make fun of Vern's accent, so I guess you can make fun
yeah.
of my Southern accent.
Well, he's got one of the strongest Yankee accents I've ever heard. About gossip. I heard they might stop the gas from coming to the gas stations where I live. I heard something about slowing down or stopping gas in some states, but I wasn't able to verify that. As time goes on, we're going to learn this stuff. And
I think I said it on Burns, and I'll say it here. I do know I went to Kroger, and one of the managers come walking by. I said, "It's kind of crazy." And I stopped him for a second. I said, how are you holding up? He said, "Well, they're telling us right now. Let's just say they wipe the shelves out. They can't pick up the phone and go, 'We need another load.' They're going to run the same schedule. So when they run out, it's going to be the next day or so before they get another load. They can't pick up the phone and order extra." That's what he told me.
wow. Well, that's
yeah. Gas is still running. I saw tankers. I I saw tankers this morning going up the interstate, and I mean, there's a pickup place right over here close to me. They're still moving, folks. If I hear that or see that the gas is not moving, I'll relay
It's
that.
time to, yeah, it's time to bunker down then. Hunker
I don't
down.
think I don't think gas, water, and power is going to be an issue.
I
This situation.
don't believe so either. Oh, Sister Lisa's in the house. I live in Stockton, California. We had to cancel our camping trip. Everything's getting canceled. Everything. I mean, to go as far to cancel the NBA. I mean, this is definitely it has to do with crashing the market. Illinois,
Justin,
79 cents a gallon.
Josh Aches. Let me clarify this for you, Josh. DOT suspended hours service only for supplies, medical supplies, and that's what I hauled this morning. Any supplies that need for this situation. Now, if you're hauling, they haven't done it on meats or refrigerated foods. They haven't done it yet. If you're hauling dry goods, just normal stuff to the grocery stores, no, they haven't done it for that. It's the only thing like medical supplies. That's the way I'm taking it. And the sad part of that DOT suspended hours, if you do have an accident and you're running hot, they're still going to come after you. So, you know, I try to stay as legal as possible, even though I don't run electronic logs. So I just wanted to clarify that for any truck drivers out here. It's a little bit, it's kind of vague about them suspending hours, but read into it. It's got a whole list of what they clarify they suspend the hours of service on.
Yeah. I think you might have, Pansy, you might have meant $1.79 a gallon, because I've never heard of 79 cents a gallon in Illinois, especially Illinois. Holy cow. When I drive through Illinois, man, I get robbed when it comes to the tolls.
Buddy of mine told me, I think they saw it in the 160s in Memphis. If I'm not mistaken, in South Carolina, it's 175 I saw this morning.
Okay, so all right, so my bro in Illinois, and it was $1.89 the next day, 79 cents.
I'd have to see that. That's cheap. They must have had a discount. That's awful cheap. I know oils took a hit. I mean, I got some friends working oil field too, and oil's down in the high 20s a barrel. I hadn't even looked at the stock market today. Is anybody paying attention to that? Where we're at? Is it another down day or?
I haven't even checked it this morning, which I definitely should have. Yeah, not since the 80s. I remember when I got my driver's license. When I got my driver's license, gas was 98 cents a gallon. And when it went up to $1.04, I about had a heart attack.
That was horrible.
But when I was in my early 20s, I had my big Ford F-350 diesel flatbed. Diesel went up to $4.18 a gallon. Back when I was in my 20s there for a while. It was brutal. But I was making
now Mitchell, there you go. You know, I did see that. Mitchell Reese, $1.25 in OKC. My son's out there. He hasn't said that yet, but I think that's where I heard another buddy of mine say it was in the 130s the other day. Mitchell, you're probably right. That's cheap, and you're probably right on that.
I just went to the store. Remember, I told you I had to go pick up cigarettes, and the ice. There's black ice all over the road and stuff. And like I said, I told you I could have bent a piece of rebar with my butt cheeks, because I don't like that black ice, the tires I got. But the gas was like $2.
That's something I won't do when I truck.
What's that, black ice?
Yeah, I pull over. Snow's one thing, but you can't see that. You have no control of a big truck.
Yeah, especially when you're coming back and the sun's coming and it's hitting that glaze, and you just see that glaze all across. Yeah, that's spooky stuff, especially when you got bad tires.
Josh apparently was an independent like me. Apparently I leased and booked my own freight. But I left after the freight rates crashed. Yeah, you're right. And that's why, and I told Justin this today, these guys have been hammering us, these brokers. And I'm going to tell them, it's $1,200 a day if you want me to run your freight. Because truck drivers, we go in a truck stop. You don't know who's touched that door, how many people's touched that door, or who inside's got it. It's a big risk for us. We're like probably just as bad as the medical field. All the people, you go get fuel, who's touched that handle? Which I wear gloves, but that
stuff is. I had somebody come on there and try to debunk me, saying that it's not an aerosol. Meaning it doesn't float in the air for 3 hours like they say. which is complete BS because, pollen can float in the air for so long. This stuff's so tiny, microscopic. All it has to do is like dust particles and stuff. It adheres to that, and it just floats around, just kind of like those, like if a dandelion, you
Some
blow the.
somebody just said Trump is on now. Diane Blue.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yep, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna listen to him.
Yeah, me
Justin,
too.
I'm gonna jump off and listen to them, and
Yep, he's
appreciate
live.
all you people. Support everybody. Do like Justin says, locked and loaded, baby. But I'll get back on if you need me, Justin. See y'all.
Yeah. He's not live yet, but they're waiting on him. So everybody, I'm gonna hop off here. I wish I knew a way to put a feed. I don't know how to do it. And after the press conference, I'll come back on live and we can discuss exactly what you think you heard, this and that. Who? President Trump. Oh, he's going live right now. Fear no man, never fear death. Get right with God. Fight the good fight, and always stay locked and loaded. Fear porn. Hillary Clinton naked. Yep, that's right. Later.